Hey everyone, welcome back to DesiMapleLife. Today I'm very excited to bring you a crash course on project management that's going to be worth every minute of your time. Whether you are gearing up for your CAPM or PMP exam or you simply want to dive into the world of project management, this course is designed for you. I have tried to pack all the information you needed to know into this video, making it a valuable reference for your exam preparation or your journey into project management. I have tried to divide this course into two parts, and this first part will cover everything you need to know about project management concepts, methodologies, principles, and more. From understanding the basics to mastering advanced techniques, I have tried to got you covered. And don't worry about taking notes. I'll be sharing all the presentation slides in the video description below, so you can follow along easily and refer back to them whenever you need. So whether you are a student or a professional or just someone curious about project management, grab a seat and let's dive in. Trust me, your time here will be well spent, and if you are ready to level up your project management skills, stay tuned for part 2 coming soon. So without doing any further delay, let's get started. So we will start this module with the definition of the project, and that definition we all know. A project is a temporary endeavor undertaking to create a unique product, service, or result. Alright, imagine a project like baking a cake. It's a temporary thing you do to make something unique. In this case, a delicious cake. It has a start and an end, and you need specific ingredients to get there. So just like baking a cake has steps and ingredients, a project has tasks and resources to achieve a goal. Now next is understanding project management. Think of the project management as being the chef in the kitchen. You are not just throwing things together randomly, instead you are using your skills, tools, knowledge to make sure everything comes together smoothly. It's not just about baking the cake, but also making sure you have all the ingredients, know the steps, and manage your time well. Now next topic is value of projects. Picture this. You are throwing a party. Projects are like the different elements that make your party awesome. Like the decorations, the music, the food, they all add value and make the party a success. Now let's talk about project life cycle. Picture the project life cycle like the journey of baking a cake. You start by gathering ingredients, then mix and bake, decorate, and finally serve it. Each stage is important and you can't skip any if you want a tasty cake. Now you must know about project governance and stakeholders. Think of a project governance as the rules of the road. It's about making sure everyone knows what they are supposed to do and keeping things on track. Now on the other hand, stakeholders are like the passengers in your car. They have a stake in where you are going and they need to be kept informed. Now you also need to understand the role of a project manager for your exam. So in the simplest way possible, the project manager is like the head chef. They make sure everyone knows their task, keeps an eye on the oven like the timeline, and solves any problems that come up. Like if the cake starts to burn or if someone runs out of flour. Then you need to know about Project Management Office, also known as PMO, and organizational structure. The PMO is like the recipe book that everyone follows. It helps keep things organized and consistent. Organizational structure is like how the kitchen is set up, who reports to who, and how decisions are made. Also, you must have the solid understanding of project constraints and areas of project management. Constraints are like the limits you have in the kitchen. Maybe you only have one oven or a limited budget for ingredients. Areas of project management are like the different parts of baking a cake. You need to mix the batter, bake it, and decorate it just right. In this module, you will also study about project management approaches. So, traditional project management is like following a recipe step by step. Agile is more like cooking without a recipe. You adopt as you go along based on what's working and what's not. It's just my style of cooking. Then comes the issues, risk, assumptions, and constraints. I have also created a video on this topic earlier. You might want to check that out. See, issues are like when you accidentally drop an egg on the floor. You have to clean it up quickly. Risk, they're like knowing there's a chance that cake might burn if you leave it in the oven too long. Assumptions are like assuming you have enough flour without actually checking. And constraints are like realizing you only have 30 minutes to bake the cake before the party starts. You need to understand leadership versus management. Leadership is like being the friendly and inspiring chef everyone wants to work with. Whereas management is like making sure everything stays on track and gets done on time, even when things get hectic. At the end of this first module, you need to know about emotional intelligence as well. Emotional intelligence is like knowing when to give someone a pat on the back for doing a great job or when to lend an ear if they are feeling stressed. It's about understanding and managing your own emotions and those of your team members to keep everyone happy and motivated. So this was all about your very first module. You need to know all the terms that I have discussed. Apart from that, this is a crash course, so I'm just explaining all the topics in short and simplest way possible. If anything is not clear to you or you want a detailed video about any of the discussed topics, do let me know in the comment section. Now let's start with the module 2. Module 2 is all about project management principles. So when I studied for my exam based on 6th edition, these principles were not there. But as per the 7th edition, you must know about these principles. There are total 12 principles and I have added them in a separate slide, and I'll try to give you the easiest explanation possible. So at least you will know why we have these principles. So let's start with the very first principle, which is be a diligent, respectful, and caring steward. Imagine you are the caretaker of a garden. Being diligent means you take care of it regularly. Respectful means you treat it with care, and caring means you nurture it with love. In project management, it's like taking care of your project by being responsible, respectful to team members, and caring about its success. Second is create a collaborative project team environment. Now, think of your project team as a group of your friends working together on a school project. Creating a collaborative environment is like making sure everyone feels included, listens to each other's ideas, and works together towards a common goal. It's all about teamwork. Now, the third principle is effectively engage with stakeholders. Picture your project stakeholders as the people who are interested in your project. I'm talking about the school project here, like your teachers, parents, or classmates. Effectively engaging with them means keeping them informed, listening to their feedback, and making sure that their needs are met. It's like keeping everyone in the loop and making sure everyone's happy with the project. Now, the fourth principle is focus on value. So, when you are working on a project, think about what's most important and valuable to achieve. It's like deciding which parts of your school project will impress your teacher the most or help you learn the most. Prioritize the tasks that add the most value to project success. Now, the fifth is recognize, evaluate, and respond to system interactions. Imagine your project as a big puzzle with lots of pieces that fit together. System interactions are like how each piece of the puzzle affects the other. Recognizing, evaluating, and responding to them means understanding how changes in one part of the project can impact other parts and making adjustments accordingly. Now, the sixth one is demonstrate leadership behaviors. Being a leader doesn't mean bossing people around. It's about inspiring and guiding others. Think of it like being the captain of a sports team, encouraging your teammates and leading by example. In project management, it's about motivating your team, making tough decisions, and keeping everyone focused on the goal. Now, the seventh principle is tailor based on context. Just like how you dress differently for different occasions, like wearing a swimsuit for the beach and suit for a wedding, project management approaches should be tailored to fit the specific project and its environment. It's about using the right tools and methods that work best for each situation. Now, the eighth principle is build quality into processes and deliverables. Quality is like making sure your school project is well done and error free. Building quality into processes and deliverables means paying attention to detail, doing things right the first time, and delivering work that meets or exceeds expectations. Now, the ninth one is navigate complexity. Sometimes the projects can be like navigating through a maze. There are twists, turns, and surprises along the way. Navigating complexity means being prepared for challenges, thinking ahead, and finding creative solutions when things get tricky. Now, the 10th principle is optimize risk responses. Think of risk as potential problems that could pop up during your project, like running out of glue for your craft project or forgetting your lines for a presentation. Optimizing risk responses means identifying those potential problems early, planning for them, and having backup plans in place just in case. Now, the 11th is embrace adaptability and resiliency. Being adaptable is like being able to go with the flow when things change unexpectedly, like changing your presentation topic at the last minute. Resiliency is bouncing back from setbacks, like not getting discouraged when things don't go as planned. In project management, it's about being flexible and staying positive even when faced with challenges. Now, the last principle is enable change to achieve the envisioned future state. Projects are like building blocks for change. Enabling change means making sure your project is moving in the right direction towards your goals and adopting as needed to reach the desired outcome. It's like laying the foundation for a better future. I hope this simplified explanation should help you grasp the key principles of project management in a more relatable and easy to understand way. Let me know if you need further clarification in the comment. If yes, I'll try to make a separate video on this. Now it's time to start with our third module, which is all about project management domains. These domains are in both editions of the PMP guide. There are total 8 project management domains. Think of project management domains as different areas or aspects of a project that need attention and management. Each domain represents a distinct aspect of project management that contributes to the overall success of the project. The 8 project management domains cover a wide range of project-related activities, including stakeholder engagement, team collaboration, planning, execution, monitoring, and control. By addressing each domain systematically, project managers can ensure that all aspects of the project are managed effectively and that project goals are achieved successfully. Let's start with the very first one, stakeholder performance domain. Remember when we planned the surprise party? Well, managing stakeholders in a project is kind of like that. We need to know who is involved and what they want and keep them happy throughout the project. Outcomes should be from this domain that we want everyone involved to feel heard and satisfied. We also want to keep everyone in the loop and make sure that they are still happy as the project goes on. Now the second is team performance domain. Think of our school group project. We all had to work together, communicate, and support each other to get a good grade. In a project, having a great team is like having a strong group of friends. We help each other and make sure we all succeed. Outcome should be we want our team to feel like they are part of something awesome, just like our group felt of our project. We also want everyone to work well together and be motivated to do their best. Now, the third domain is development approach and life cycle domain. So, how should I put it? Like, choosing how to approach a project is like deciding how to build a Lego set. We need to pick the right pieces and put them together in the best way possible. The project's life cycle is like following the instructions. It helps us know what to do and when to do that. What we want from this domain is that we want to make sure we are building our project in the best way for what we need, just like how we follow the Lego instructions carefully. And if things change, we can always switch up our approach or adjust the plan, just like how we might change our Lego design or as we go, right? So now the number fourth is planning performance domain. Planning a project is like planning a road trip. We need to know where we are going, what we will need, and how long it will take to get there. A good plan helps us stay on track and avoid getting lost. What we want from this domain is that we want to have a solid plan in place, just like having a detailed map or for our road trip. And as we go, we'll keep checking our plan and adjusting it if we need to, just like how we might change our route or if there is a traffic. Now, fifth is project work performance domain. So working on a project is like building a Lego set. We have tasks to complete, deadlines to meet, and we need to work together to get it done. It's kind of like a puzzle. We put all the pieces together to make something awesome. What you want from this domain is that you want to finish all your tasks on time and make sure everything fits together perfectly, just like completing a Lego set. And if we run into any problems, we'll figure them out together and keep moving forward. Now the sixth is project delivery performance domain. Delivering a project is like delivering a package. We need to make sure it's what the customer wants. It's in a good shape and it arrives on time. It's like making sure our friends get their birthday present exactly when they're supposed to. What you want from this domain is that you want to make sure that your project meets all the requirements and is delivered on time, just like delivering a package. And we want our customer or whoever the project is for to be really happy with what they got. Just like our friends was, just like if you will give the birthday present to your friend on their birthday, exact that day. Now the seventh is measure performance domain. Measuring a project is like checking our progress on a road trip. We want to know how far we have come, if we are on a track, and if we need to make any adjustment along the way. It's like checking the map to make sure we are still going in the right direction. What you want from this domain is that you want to keep an eye on your progress to make sure we are hitting our milestones, just like keeping track of our distance on a road trip. And if we need to change course, we will do it quickly so we can still reach our destination on time. Now the eighth is uncertainty performance domain. Dealing with uncertainty is in a project management is like dealing with surprises on a road trip. We might run into traffic or bad weather or road closures, but we need to stay calm and figure out a new plan. It's like being flexible and adapting to whatever comes our way. So you want to be prepared for any surprises and have a backup plan in case things don't go as expected. Just like having a detour ready for unexpected roadblocks. And if we need to change our plans, we'll do it with confidence and keep moving forward. I hope these domains are clear to you. Usually it's a very long topic and I try to cover the most of it. Let me know your thoughts, and yes, if you're enjoying this video, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And now let's start with the module 4. There's a lot. Now module 4 is all about understanding predictive project management. So this is the module where we will cover the process groups and 49 processes under them. Here comes the ethos where all CAPM aspirants get confused. So let me try to break down it in a very simpler way. Imagine you are building a house. There are different stages you need to go through, like planning, construction, and finishing touches. These stages are like the process groups in project management. Now let's say you are in the construction stage. You need materials, tools and techniques to build the house, right? That's where ethos comes in. Inputs, these are like the materials you need for the construction, like bricks, cement, woods, etc. In project management, inputs are things like project charters, plans and documents that you need to start and carry out your work. Tools and techniques, these are like the tools and methods you use to build the house, like hammers, blueprints, etc. In project management, tools and techniques are methods like meetings, brainstorming, or software that help you carry out your project work effectively. Outputs, these are like the finished part of the house, walls, doors, windows, etc. In project management, outputs are the result of using your inputs and tools and techniques. They are things like deliverables, reports, or completed tasks that move your project forward. Now, the 49 processes are like the specific task you need to do within each stage of building the house. Each process has its own set of inputs, tools, and techniques, and outputs that help you accomplish the task. So, in summary, the 49 processes are the specific tasks that you need to do within each stage of your project, like building the house, and ethos are the ingredients, tools, and methods you use to carry out those tasks effectively. They're all interconnected and work together to help you successfully manage your project from start to finish. In predictive project management, we have 5 process groups. Think of them as different stages of our project journey: initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, closing. Now let's talk about inputs, tools and techniques and outputs. I have added a simplified breakdown of some major ethos we will encounter, like project management plan, project documents, expert judgment, meetings, change requests. Now what I'll try to do, that I'll try to break down each of these 49 processes from the PMBOK 6th edition in the simplest terms. First group is initiating process group. It has 2 processes. Number 1 is develop project charter. This is like creating the blueprint for our project. We define what the project is all about, who is involved, and what we want to achieve. The second is identify stakeholders. Here we are figuring out who all is affected by the project, both positively and negatively. Now, the planning process group has 24 processes. Let's go to them one by one. Number 1, develop project management plan. This is where we put together our project management plan, outlining how we will manage, execute and control the project. Second is plan scope management. Here we are planning how we will define, validate and control the project scope to ensure we meet our objectives. Third one is collect requirements. In this step, we gather all the requirements from stakeholders about what they want the project to achieve. It's like making a shopping list before going to the store. Next is define scope. So here what we do, that we are defining the boundaries of the project, like what's included and what's not. It's like drawing the outline of a picture before coloring it in. Now next one is create WBS, work breakdown structure. So this is where we break down the project into smaller and manageable tasks. It's like dividing a big project into smaller pieces, making it easier to handle. Next is plan schedule management. What we do here, we are planning how we will create and control the project schedule. It's like planning out the timeline for completing each task, like how much time will take to complete one task according to the second task, if there is any interdependency, like that. Next is define activities. In these steps, we are identifying all the specific tasks that need to be done to complete the project. It's like listing out all the steps needed to bake a cake. Now what we do, you have all the steps, then you sequence activities. Here you are putting the project activities in the right order. It's like arranging the steps of a recipe in the correct sequence. You cannot bake before mixing. So next is estimate activity durations. here we are estimating how long each activity will take to complete. It's like guessing how much time each step of a recipe will take. Then we develop schedule. This is where we create the project schedule by determining the start and finish dates for each activity. It's like putting together a timeline for the entire project. Then comes the plan cost management. Here we are planning how we will manage and control the project costs. It's like setting a budget for the project and deciding how we will track expenses. Then estimate cost. In this step, you are estimating how much each activity will cost to complete. It's like figuring out how much each ingredient will cost for a recipe. Now the next process is determine budget. So what we are doing here in this case, that we are aggregating the estimated cost for each activity to determine the overall project budget. It's like adding up all the ingredients cost to find out the total cost of making the recipe. Then plan quality management. This is where we plan how we will ensure that the project meets its quality objectives. It's like setting standards for the quality of the finished product. Then plan resource management. Here we are planning how we will acquire and manage the resources needed for the project. It's like figuring out what ingredients and tools will need to complete the recipe. Then estimate activity resources. Here you are estimating the types and quantities of resources like people, equipment and materials required for each activity. It's like figuring out how many ingredients and tools will need for each step of the recipe. Then plan communications management. This is where we plan how we will communicate with everyone involved in the project. It's like deciding how we will share updates and information about the project. Then plan risk management. Here we are planning how we will identify, assess and respond to risk throughout the project. It's like anticipating potential problems and figuring out how we will deal with them. Next is identify risk. So in this step, we are identifying all the potential risks that could affect the project. It's like making a list of all the things that could go wrong. Then next step is perform qualitative risk analysis. Here you are assessing the likelihood and impact of each identified risk qualitatively. It means it's like judging how serious each potential problem is, and how likely it is to occur. Now next is perform quantitative risk analysis. This is where we are analyzing the numerical impact of identified risk on project objectives. It's like putting a value on the potential problems to see how much they could affect the project. Then we plan risk responses. Here you are planning how you will respond to each identified risk to either minimize its impact or capitalize on opportunities. It's like preparing a strategy for dealing with each potential problem. Then we have plan procurement management. This is where we plan how we will procure goods and services from external vendors to support the project. It's like deciding what we will buy and how we will buy it. Then we plan stakeholder engagement. Here we are planning how we will engage with stakeholders throughout the project to ensure their needs and expectations are met. It's like figuring out how we will keep everyone involved and informed throughout the project. So most of the processes takes place in planning process group. So yeah, it was 24 of them. Next is executing process group, which have 10 processes. Number 1 is direct and manage project work. This is where we are actually doing the work, outlining the project management plan. It's like getting our hands dirty and making progress on the project task. Then there is perform quality assurance. Here we are ensuring that the project's processes are followed correctly to meet quality standards. It's like checking to make sure everything is being done right. Then we have acquire project resources. This is where you are obtaining the necessary personnel, equipment and materials for the project. It's like getting all the tools and ingredients we need to complete the recipe. Then we have develop project team. Here we are improving the skills and competencies of project team members to enhance project performance. It's like training and coaching the team to work together more effectively, or how to resolve their conflicts, etc. Then manage project team. This is where we are leading and motivating the project team to accomplish project objectives. It's like keeping the team focused and motivated to achieve their goals. Then we have manage communications. What we are doing in this process, that we are ensuring timely and appropriate generation, collection, collection, storage and disposition of project information. It's like making sure everyone involved in the project is kept informed and up to date. Then we have conduct procurements. This is where we are obtaining seller responses, selecting sellers and awarding contracts. It's like purchasing goods or services needed for the project from external vendors. Then we have manage stakeholder engagement. Here we are again communicating and working with the stakeholders to meet their needs and expectations. It's like keeping your stakeholders involved and satisfied throughout the project, which is very, very important for any project to be succeed. Because stakeholders are the one who are actually getting impacted by the project that you are working on. Then we have monitoring and controlling process group, which has 12 processes. Monitor and control project work. This process involves tracking and overseeing project performance to ensure that work is being completed according to the project management plan. It's like keeping a close eye on the project's progress to identify any deviations from the plan. Then we perform integrated change control. Here you are reviewing, approving and managing changes to the project scope, schedule and budget. It's like evaluating proposed changes to determine their impact on the project and deciding whether to implement them. Then you have validate scope. This process involves formalizing acceptance of the completed project deliverables by the customer or sponsor. It's like ensuring that the project outputs meet the agreed upon acceptance criteria. Then you have control scope. Here we are managing changes to the project scope throughout the project life cycle. It's like preventing scope creep by ensuring that only approved changes are implemented. It is very much important. Then you have control schedule. This process involves monitoring and controlling the project schedule to ensure that work is completed on time, which is very important for any given project. It's like keeping track of deadlines and adjusting schedules as needed to meet them. Then you have control cost. Here you are monitoring and controlling project costs to ensure that the project stays within budget. It's like keeping track of expenses and making adjustments to prevent cost overruns. You don't want that. Like, none of the project would want that. Then you have control quality. This process involves monitoring and controlling project quality to ensure that deliverables meet the required standards. It's like maintaining a focus on quality throughout the project to prevent defects or rework, because you know that even rework is going to cost you. Then you have control resources. Here we are monitoring and controlling project resources to ensure that they are used efficiently and effectively. It's like optimizing resource allocation to maximize productivity and minimize waste. Then you have monitor communications. This process involves monitoring and controlling project communications to ensure that information is distributed effectively and efficiently. It's like keeping everyone informed and engaged throughout the project. Just one thing. You have to keep everyone informed. Then you have controlled procurements. Here we are monitoring and controlling procurement activities to ensure that goods and services are acquired according to the project requirements. It's like overseeing vendors' contracts and ensuring compliance with terms and conditions. Then you have monitor stakeholder engagement. This process involves monitoring and controlling stakeholder engagement to ensure that stakeholders' needs and expectations are being met. It's like keeping a track of stakeholder interactions and adjusting engagement strategies as needed. Now, the last process group is closing process group, and it's my favorite because it has only one process: close project or phase. This process involves finalizing all activities across all process groups to formally close the project or phase. It's like tying up loose ends and ensuring that all project work is completed satisfactorily. Okay, I know it's a lot, but instead of memorizing these ethos and processes, try to understand it. If you want, I can create a separate video just for this module in detail. But for now, because it's a crash course and I wanted to keep it short, I have tried to include as many points as possible. I'll soon come up with the part 2 of this course where I will talk about Agile project management and rest of the topics. Do let me know your thoughts about this video, whether you like it or not. And guys, I did put a lot of effort in this, so don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Do share this video with your friends, and I will see you in my next videos. Until then, bye and take care.